Kyle Dubas backing his coach. But what's really going on in Pittsburgh? Hello, you mother puckers, and welcome back to another episode of Pucked Up. I'm here with the gang today. I am Chris, and joined with me, as always, are two of my favorite ladies on the planet, Danger and Dee. You guys, it's been a long minute, but we're all back together.
Reunited. It feels so good.
It feels so right.
Like...
No, I do apologize for missing last week. Had some
All good.
things going on in my life. So, you get no more details than that.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's...
We're not going to talk about what I was doing, Chris.
She was reading the Bible.
I was reading the Bible alone.
Okay, Shane, stop. Chill out.
It's so
Chill.
good. Oh
It
my
is really
god.
I mean,
That was a good bet.
something.
Dude. Yeah, well, I mean, so we're also like week
What was
7
happening
with
happens
no
in the
double
Bible.
D, which you guys have been so busy too, so
Yeah. Well, yeah, my back earlier was just
Gosh.
killing me. Like, I don't know if I can stand to sit for both, you
Mm.
know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I hear you. I know I've been standing
That's
all
fair.
day, so sitting's the greatest feeling on the planet right now.
Right. That's fair.
No.
So yes, we have everyone. We have a few things to talk about.
You.
Me too.
As well as a fun little surprise for all of you on the obscure NHL player of the week this week. It's a surprise.
It's a surprise.
It's a surprise. I'm gonna start saying that now
Yeah.
forever. And only we will get it.
Yes.
It's
Only our mother puckers will understand.
only our mother puckers will get it. By the way, if you guys want some mother puckers merch, might be something coming in
Hell
2024. Keep your eyes out on the
2024.
merch store.
Good even number.
Yeah, we may have some pucked up merch coming. Speaking of people who have merch, that's a terrible segue. But we're going with it.
No, we're fucking keeping that.
We're keeping
I'm rolling
that.
for
We're
that.
going with
Keeping
this.
that. We're going.
We found another Alex Ovechkin milestone, D, as well as some other cap news.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Which will require new merch.
Bam.
Because it'll now say something else. But I'll get into that in a second. That's so fucking funny. All right. So Alex Ovechkin has officially passed 1,500 career points, which puts him as the
Crazy.
16th person ever in the NHL to do that,
That's
and only
bananas.
the second active player to have 1,500 points. He is second only to Sidney Crosby.
But like, would
That
you
is the
want it
other
any
active
other
player to go
way?
1,500.
The way their careers have gone, would you have it any other way?
Right.
You know?
But I mean, how insane is it that there's only 2 people playing with that many points and only 16 overall of the
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds of people that have come through
Well,
the
yeah.
NHL?
Well,
right?
think about how rare it is, even so, to see someone with 1,000 points. Like, that number's
Yeah.
still pretty small too.
Right.
You know?
So it's an incredible milestone. It's really unfortunate for Dylan Strome because it was Dylan Strome's 100th career goal on the same play that was Ovechkin's 1,500th career point.
Yeah.
So Strome afterwards was like, I mean, I'm pretty sure he gets to keep the puck for that one. 'Cause,
Yeah.
That's a bigger milestone than me.
That's fair.
So he doesn't get to keep his 100th career goal puck. But he can just direct people to Alex Ovechkin's house and be like, check it out over there.
Yeah, if
You
you
know what I
want to go
mean?
look
I
at
just
it,
got it.
Ovi's got it.
Which, I mean, that is low-key kind of cool to be like, yeah, my Alex Ovechkin has my 100th career goal.
Right. No
puck.
big deal.
So, no big deal.
Yeah.
We're just like friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No big. Yeah.
No
They
big
I
deal.
autographed
just-
it for
yeah.
him. Like.
They're
you know.
cool.
Right.
They just bro
Get a little
down and shit.
picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, now that Backy's stepped away, you know, Ovi needs
Potentially
someone to
forever.
pass the puck to him. What then?
Right.
Yeah, what
What
then?
then? Oh
Such a great
shit,
commercial.
dude! It really is such a good commercial. And then his
it's
wife just in the background. And why is he always here for
Why is
breakfast?
he here? Yeah.
Yeah. Just eating on the couch
the other
like
bit of
monsters.
No, that's where you eat cereal. Is the
I've
couch.
never once eaten cereal on the couch while watching TV, just holding it. I've
Ever?
never done that.
I do all.
Did you not
What?
have a childhood?
I
What the
sat
fuck?
at the
What did you do
table.
Sunday morning in cartoons?
What the fuck is
I
wrong
put it
with you? Not
on
even
the
when
coffee
you were
table.
homesick from school.
I sat it on the
No.
coffee table, and I sat on the coffee. I sat like in front of the
I
coffee
know the
table.
difference, D. I know the difference. We have big boobs. We have a built-in table.
Yeah,
True.
I'm a
But
little.
when I was sick,
I'm a
I
little
was not.
flat
You're a
I was
chested.
little
pretty
flat for that.
flat-chested.
I'm a little flat chested. I'm not flat stomached, but I'm flat chested.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
we have the built-in table.
Again, I don't know what this podcast is going to be, but we're here today.
Talking about
Well, to get us
random
back
shit.
on track,
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
More
we'll
on
see.
track. It was also announced today that there's going to be an announcement tomorrow regarding the Washington Capitals home.
yeah.
The announcement today is that we get an announcement tomorrow. But in all seriousness, Ted Leonsis, who is the owner of Monumental Sports Network and Monumental Sports Entertainment, and
He owns everything the
things.
DC area has to offer.
Well, pretty much. He is actually actively bidding for the Washington Nationals organization. He did not get in on the bid for the Washington Commanders, but that's still something that's on the table.
Can he buy DC United and maybe, like, I don't know, make them not shit?
Maybe.
That'd be nice. Or can
He owns
Magic
a women's
Johnson
soccer
buy
team,
the
I'm pretty
fucking...
sure.
Yeah. If Magic Johnson could buy them and just throw money at them like you just threw at
Right.
Shohei Ohtani.
Anyway, so Ted has wanted to upgrade Capital One for a long time. Any of you who watch any Capitals games know our ice fucking sucks.
Yes.
It's a really old facility. It hasn't had many improvements over the decades it's been there. So they wanted to do some upgrades. They originally reached out to the city of DC to see if DC would loan them $600 million in public money to update the facility and the surrounding area. Because there's also really, those of you who have been to Capital One know, there's not like shit to do
Yeah.
nearby. Like you're in DC, but you're not in like the fun bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So DC was like, why would we do that? And now there's been a plan to bring Capital One Arena to Virginia, actually, to the Potomac Yard area in Alexandria. And what they want to do is build, like, I forget how much they said it was going to be, an 8,000 square foot campus in Alexandria to break ground in 2025 and be playing there in 2028. The campus itself would include, obviously, the arena where both the Washington Capitals and the Washington Wizards would play. It would also include a 3,000 seat music venue as well, like in addition to the arena.
Ooh.
It would have hotels nearby. It would obviously have food nearby. There's a couple of other things that were going to be all wrapped up into that Potomac Yard construction. And so it's been approved supposedly on Wednesday morning at like 9 a.m. Ted Leonsis and the current governor of Virginia are going to have a press conference and potentially announce this big thing. Well, the funny thing is, right before recording this, there's an update to the story, which is that the mayor of DC actually came out and said, basically, like, hey, if you stay, we'll give you $50 million towards your renovation. What about that? What do you think about that?
I think
wanna try that?
50 million's not
50 is
600 million.
So close. Yeah, exactly.
Also,
so close to
600
500.
million seems very
lot.
high to renovate an arena.
Well, I think again, it was not just for the arena; it's for the surrounding area.
So he's
too,
so
to
he's
build it
looking
up
to
so it's
build
more.
kind of like LA Live, kind of like where you
Yeah.
have like the Staples Center and then
Right.
like everything around it, the Nokia Theater
Exactly.
in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So they wanted it would be an arena that both teams would use, a 3,000 seat music and entertainment venue, a conference center, hotels, and the headquarters for Monumental Sports Entertainment. So
Yeah.
it would be all of that, and it would be a mixed use development.
So when
so,
you travel to
yeah.
DC for a game, like how long is your commute for that?
It depends. So, like on game nights, they have more stops, and also, in order for me to get to the arena in time, I'm traveling during rush hour.
Yeah.
So it's at least like an hour.
Yeah, so it seems like what this move is going to do, it's going to free up a lot more
Oh, and
fans.
I'm so sorry. I misspoke. How dare I? Mayor Bowser has released a statement saying that they're willing to come together to put up 500 million of these 600 million.
I was like, wait, 50
Okay,
million's
that's much
like, yeah,
closer,
fuck
much
you.
closer.
I forgot a zero. I just can't read.
That's fair.
So for the renovation and modernization of the area.
Okay.
So they're like only
Oh,
100
that's
million
much
off, and they would be
closer. Yeah.
paying a shit ton more to build from scratch in Potomac Yard. So we'll
Right.
see if we actually get an announcement tomorrow. But for me, yeah, if they move to Potomac Yard, that significantly decreases my travel time to get to games.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Plus, I think maybe we should get a new arena.
Capital One Arena was open in 97.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is
And ain't shit been done.
no.
Like, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and all of the shit that well, I mean, that's also, if you think about, that's going to affect Georgetown, wouldn't it? Because doesn't Georgetown play in Capital One Arena?
well, I mean, the arena would still be there. Like,
Oh, true.
they
Yeah.
would just go back to the city afterwards. So there's $35 million left on the bond that we have with the city.
Yeah.
Which if we pay off the $35 million, our lease would end in 2027.
Okay.
So then we would be building all that while. So 2027 would end, and 2028 would be the opening of the new arena,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all right. So I mean, that's a
which
solid
would
plan.
be, by that point, Ovechkin would be out of DC.
Right.
Yeah.
He would be retired.
Because when does his contract end?
I think he has 3 years left.
Does he?
Yeah.
Right.
If he does play all 3 years, which everyone says they do. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
I think he will. But that's a whole other conversation.
I think he just wants to
Yeah.
play as long as it takes until he fucking passes Gretzky. And then he'll retire.
You know, this is a conversation that a lot of people have, because they think that that's all Ovechkin's trying to do is do that. What Ovechkin wants, as far as all the interviews I've seen and how I've seen him develop as a player, he wants another cup.
Yeah.
That is above beating Gretzky for him. Is another cup. He wants to bring another cup home to DC because he loves DC.
Yeah.
But also, like, if you watched any of our games this past week, especially the most recent one, against a team that I can't even remember, to be honest with you. Oh, the Rangers.
Let's like forget about one of the
anyway.
best teams in the league.
Well, they weren't the best when we played them. Can tell you that. We had a shutout against the Rangers.
Yeah, I saw that.
so That was nice. Anyway, Ovechkin's actively passing to other people. There was a moment between him when or no, not Strom's goal, but somebody else's. Wilson. Wilson's going in, and Ovechkin's there, and you can tell he's calling for the buck. He's like, "Hey, I'm over here. Like, I got a clear lane, whatever." And Wilson decides he's going to fake out the goalie, like pretending that he's going to pass it to Ovechkin to draw his eye, and then
Yeah.
whack it in the back of the net. And afterwards, Ovechkin was just as happy as he'd be on if he was the one that scored,
Right.
because all he cares about is winning fucking games.
Right.
Ultimately, all he cares about is winning games.
Yeah.
Because it gets them that much closer. So, do I think he wants to beat Gretzky? Yeah, but in every interview he's ever done about the record, he's like, "Hey, if it happens, cool. If it doesn't happen,
Yeah.
I'm just happy I got to
Doesn't
play."
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
one of those weird situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
I kind
like
of feel like that's similar to how Fleury is with beating like Patrick Waugh. Like,
Yeah.
even though he's much closer to beating that than Ovi is right now, but
yeah.
you know,
Although
I get that
Ovi's
same kind of vibe.
less than 60 goals away. So even if he only puts up
Right.
20 goals over the next 3 seasons,
Right.
or I think it's like 65. So
Yeah.
if he puts up like 21, 22 goals for the next couple of years that he has a contract, he's going to
Right.
beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Which, and for
So
him, 20 goals isn't working very hard. Like, it's easy.
this
in
year,
that respect.
Well,
a little different, but-
couple years,
Well-
he's definitely slowed down in the pace. But yeah, no, like
Well,
but
yeah,
even then, like he
it's-
was still posting 47 and
Yeah.
60 goals. You know what I mean?
It's a very attainable number for him.
Mhm.
Whether or
Right.
not he gets there, obviously, we're gonna find out. Whether we think he is
Yeah.
or not, we're all gonna find out together on what happens
True.
there.
Speaking of turnarounds, though, Connor McDavid had a little bit of a turnaround from his precipitous drop off to start the season.
So not only Connor McDavid, but just
Of
the
the whole
entire
team, really.
Edmonton Oilers altogether the past couple like the past week have like complete 180. I believe all last week Connor McDavid ended up with 11 points.
Yeah.
Or it was like their last 5 games or whatever when I had checked it out, and I was like, this is insanity. So I mean, even with Edmonton in the standings, their last 10 games, they are 7-3. They're on a 7-game winning streak right now.
Nice.
Connor McDavid has planted himself tied for like 8th in the top 10 in points.
Good.
He has 36
So either
points.
they finally got it to click, or they have just been playing, against teams that are super beatable. But I think that they're finally finding their gel.
I mean, and I hope so. And like we discussed,
season.
we've actually we've all discussed I think multiple times at this point. On paper and over, through the past few years, we know how good Edmonton can be. It's just like it's hard to imagine. Yeah. Well, it's just hard to imagine them in this position because they haven't been.
Right.
This is such a foreign concept to them over the last 5-6 years that like you don't watch a great. This would be like if the Bruins started off 0-10.
Right.
That is absolutely one of the things. But that's absolutely like a factor that's going to go into the way we're looking at all this, because
True.
I guess a good example is look at the New Jersey Devils.
Mhm.
Their season isn't exactly as hot as they were last year.
No.
I mean, they're still decent,
But they're
but
still
again,
playing well.
yeah. I know
Very true.
Danger has some gripes with one player on the Edmonton Oilers.
I mean,
Yeah. I'm not very happy, shockingly. I know this will shock everybody, with Evander Kane right now.
Yeah.
And it's not even the fact that we lost against Edmonton. It 100% is his clear boarding
very clear
against
boarding.
Jonas Brodin, and we'll talk about in our injury report how long he'll be out for. But it was very clear boarding. Didn't get called as a penalty, which is not on Edmonton by any means. That's
No.
100% on the officials.
Right.
But like somebody on Twitter said, this happens with Kane a lot, where he hits from behind all the time, and it never gets called.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's an issue. Like,
But then
that's
he'll get
another
called for, like, the
soapbox for
keeper
another
thing.
day.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But that's a soapbox for another day against the officials. But like, his bullshit, and then Hartman comes and kind of slowly gets tangled up and pushes him down, and then Hartman gets a penalty. For roughing, I think it was some stupid misconduct, or
Was it roughing or
stupid minor
unsportsman?
penalty. Yeah, roughing or unsportsman. But then in an interview after the fact, this is what really pisses me off. In an interview after the fact, Kane is starting to try to say that Hartman purposefully ran his skate across his face. First of all, you have an eye shield on, like, the upper shield covering. And if you rewatch it, even in slow motion, like, you can see, in fact, I think you can slightly see Hartman try to move his feet away from Evander's face.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
So to try to spread the misinformation that he purposefully ran his skate against his face, especially with, all of
the recent situation.
the recent situations and Adam Johnson, I think was his last name. Forgive me if it was. Okay. I all of a sudden went, is this the right name? But yeah, with like the passing of Adam Johnson, to be trying to pull that stuff is just not okay.
No.
I think that's shitty.
Yeah, and
I mean, are we surprised though?
What else would? Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say that. Like, what would we expect anything less from Kane?
Yeah.
At this point.
Well, and like obviously Kane should know better than anyone after last season.
Yeah, with
getting
his
wrist
cut.
Exactly.
To level that at another player, I think is gross.
Yeah.
Right.
When you watch it, like, is his skate in the vicinity of his head? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
The back of his head and is nowhere near any exposed skin. And additionally,
Right.
it wasn't like intentional. It wasn't like he
Yeah.
put like if this is,
They-
you know, his blade and this is the dude's head. It wasn't like he was like, hey,
Yeah.
like let me do this real
Right.
quick. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Right.
He
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
It was
if
like
anything, it was
this.
sliding over top of him because he was
the
on
helmet,
top of Kane.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
like the top of his
But you-
toe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
toe of his
Yeah, it
of
wasn't
his
even his
skate.
skate. Like
Yeah.
it was
No.
it was the toe and it was
And it touched
the
his
top
The
visor.
part of his
booted
foot.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Not the blade part. So
Right.
and in that interview, I haven't gotten to see a clip of the interview, but my grandma had watched it and she's the one that I heard this part from. But I guess the interviewer even shut him down, like right there. He was like, I don't know exactly what was said, but it was clear that the interviewer was like, yeah, no, that didn't happen.
no.
Like you're full of shit kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So I just think it's shitty. Like
Agreed.
I'm not and we talked about it last season too, even after his injury. Not a fan of him.
Yeah.
Was I sorry he got hurt last year? Yeah. Am I sorry this year that he got hurt last year? Not so much anymore. Like
He's fully recovered
but
and now he's being a
he's fully yeah,
douchebag.
exactly. I
douche,
can make
Yeah.
that joke because he fully recovered. But
Right.
yeah, don't be a douchebag. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Stop being a
And
Richard.
also refs need to fucking get their shit together.
Right,
Something
yeah.
like that. Like someone he checked him in the numbers into the fucking
into
glass.
the board
Like,
from
yeah.
behind.
Come on,
And
dude.
now Brodeen is out for an indeterminate amount of time with an upper body injury that we think, based on the way
Right.
he hit and what we've heard from the team after, that it's probably a dislocated shoulder.
Yeah.
Which is no small injury, you
And
know.
none of us are saying that like Kane deserves to get suspended for 6 games and blah blah blah. No, he
no.
just deserved 2
He
minutes in
should
the
have
penalty
gotten the
box.
boarding penalty. Yeah, exactly. He
Like,
should have
that's
gotten the
all.
boarding penalty.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think
Exactly.
that was the one thing we all agreed on. It was like, was it an absolutely egregious and an appalling hit? No, but was it boarding? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Right.
was.
Yeah,
It was like a
100%.
textbook definition of fucking boarding. You know
And
what I mean?
like,
Right,
and like,
exactly.
I am going to applaud Hartman for standing up for his teammate.
Yeah.
Although
But
I have to say, Kane made such a big deal of it. Hartman gave like the babiest fucking punch I've ever
Yeah.
seen. Like he
Yeah.
barely tries to fight Kane,
yeah,
and Kane topples. Like I mean, this is a weeble that definitely wobbled and
he
fell
did fell
the fuck
down.
over.
No,
You know what I mean? He
Right,
did
yeah,
fall down.
Yeah.
He did
oh
fall
yeah.
down.
No, it was the slowest. Like,
It was
and the
so
fact that then Hartman got a penalty for it,
right.
and like
Yeah.
if they would have called the penalty as like a retaliation or some sort of
Instigator.
other thing,
Yeah.
instigating something like that, I could have seen. And the announcers were like, "Well, Kane did it right by not retaliating for the hit." And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
Right.
so
Hartman, is standing up. But my favorite part of that exchange, and for those of you that have seen the clip, is Hartman
Yeah.
ends up with both their sticks in his hands and then just yeets Kane's stick across the ice like, fuck
like,
this
fuck
stick.
your stick.
Like, yeah,
So
it was the
That's
funniest bit.
I
but-
understand what the commentary team meant by not retaliating. He
Yeah.
took the hit. Do you know who always gets called in a post like whistle scrum? The person who fights back. So that's
Yeah.
what they mean by he stood back like, I don't want to take a penalty. It's because like you
well,
knew
but
Ryan
he knew
Hartman
he should have
probably
gotten a
might
fucking
whip your
boarding
ass,
penalty, probably.
and then like
too.
something like, oh, I don't want to push my luck, man. Like
and
Right.
with Mitzi on the ice too, with Middleton on the ice, you
Yeah.
probably didn't want to start too much shit either.
Because like
Middleton will
say
rip
what
your
you
throat
say
out.
what you want about the Minnesota Wild, but they got a lot of people that could probably fight real
They
well.
throw hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like our boys are not afraid. And speaking of, I just wanted to say, because I wasn't here last week, I wanted to kind of touch base on the changes with the Wild. We have a new coach as of 2
We could
weeks
talk about
ago.
that,
Which has worked out really well. I wasn't really sure what I thought of him, especially being how he left Nashville, which was fine, but like anytime a coach leaves like that, it's kind of like a what happened?
Yeah.
I'll miss Dean Evanson. You guys know I always talked about, well, almost always talked about him in a positive light, but I do agree that like he wasn't motivating the guys in a way anymore. And our assistant coach, one of our assistant coaches got let go as well. but bringing in Hayes has worked out. I mean, we've won 5 of and lost 2 games since the coaching change, which has been really great. I mean, we were in like a 7 or 8 game losing streak, which was just, I mean, everybody in the like groups I was in, right. Like, you know, I mean, in the Wild, I've always had the thing with we make it to the playoffs and then we don't
do anything,
progress.
Yeah,
we as I always say, we forget that we play hockey for a living. So
we just do that on a nightly basis.
Yeah,
right.
Same.
Yeah. But so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but I am hopeful for the coaching change and wanted to kind of touch in on that since I wasn't here to give my thoughts.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it works out. I don't know that his tenure will be here. And thankfully Guerin too, like after Dean left, like Guerin only had positive things to say, and vice versa. Evanson said some really positive things about the boys and the Guerin and the whole organization, the fans, and like so like that's always good to hear too. There's none of that shit talking like, oh, I don't work for them anymore. I can tell everybody how
that's
I really
how it was
feel.
with Dallas Eakins when he was released from Anaheim. He was,
the only thing that Evanson said was addressing like Kirill Kaprizov because, you know, obviously he hasn't played quite the same. And he just said like he is still rehabbing an injury from last year, you know, and it's not an easy injury to rehab. No. Right. And so he just kind of confirmed what a bunch of us have known for a while. Some fans love to put all of our losses on Kaprizov's shoulders, like you're supposed to be, you know, our baby Jesus, and it's like, no, you can't put that on one guy. Like
team sport. Which is something we've said on this podcast every fucking
so many times. Yeah.
No, that's
but actually speaking of coaching updates. Want to get into it?
Oh, yeah. Also for those of you that don't know, an AHL coach, Bob Nardella, was now banned for 10 games for using a anti-gay slur, which is what we'll say. Nobody really knows what was for sure said, and I don't think we need to really know what was for sure said.
No.
Nothing needs to be said in that realm anyway, but it was the Chicago Wolves head coach Bob Nardella was suspended 10 games by the AHL for the anti-gay language toward officials on Saturday. It was 8:48 of the third period. Kyle Marino was assessed a double minor penalty for high sticking, which Nardella protested. Nardella was then given a bench minor and a game misconduct for the abuse of the officials. And then on Tuesday, the AHL then suspended him the 10 games as a, quote, consequence of his actions. And then the American Hockey League released a statement and just said they are committed to building a culture that is safe, inclusive, and free from abuse, harassment, and all forms of unethical behavior or misconduct. Nardella will be permitted to participate in team practices on non-game days during the suspension. He was hired back in June for the head coach position after spending 7 years as an assistant coach. And he played for the Wolves for 7 seasons and had retired in 2006.
Interestingly, they also suspended Dominic Franco for 1 game.
I was just going to get into that.
The officials.
And
it's a Chicago organization, you know, who is currently unaffiliated with any team.
I was going to say the funny part is they're not even.
Just gonna say both.
They're not even like affiliated with the Chicago Blackhawks. It's just ironic that some crazy.
Well, they're not affiliated with any team right now.
With
any NHL.
Team. They are.
But it is funny that it's also in Chicago, and Chicago hockey just can't get its shit together, man.
Yeah, they keep and. I've been to Chicago. Chicago can be a lovely city, but I had one of my worst experiences ever as a tourist somewhere in Chicago. And it was just with a street performer, like, you know, nothing like major. Nobody attacked me or anything, but like he verbally did for just trying to record like a minute-long video of what he was doing because it was really cool. And because I didn't give him money that second, he screamed at me, like legitimately, like made me cry. And this was like 15 years ago, but it's just one of those where it's like, yes, that has nothing to do with hockey. I know, I'm sorry, but it's one of those where it's like, what is in the water in Chicago to make people think that you can treat other people in this way?
So
is my point of that story.
I do want to applaud the AHL for how quickly they acted on this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, we you know, if you guys listen to, you know, Pucked Up or any LTN content, you know our stances with the whole community and obviously with myself being a part of it and multiple others in our camp. It's still very important to me that, you know, the sport tries to eliminate that sort of behavior and make it very known that it is not tolerated in any way for any matter. And we say all these things about the NHL and how they do things, but like the AHL never comes up. Like it rarely comes up.
They kind of
when there's a problem, they fix it very fast.
Yeah.
So all respect to the AHL for making a hard line in the sand
and for standing
and to the
behind
Wolves.
that.
Yeah.
But for standing behind them, making wanting to make everybody feel included and welcome, whether they're players, coaches, fans, because, I mean, the NHL, as we know, says that, but then they go and like try to ban Pride Night stuff. You can't have it both ways. You know what I mean? And so thankfully they've rescinded on that and are now allowing the Pride tape at least and stuff. I don't know if all of the teams' Pride Nights have been reinstated or not.
You can do a Pride Night, but you can't wear a warm-up jersey. So if you want to sell
the warm-up jerseys are separate.
It's like you get pictures of them wearing it in a non-game practice.
Right.
Which is,
But like they were, the NHL initially was saying that they couldn't even use the tape and stuff that a lot of the players used during warm-ups.
And again, that's a major shout out to the players, because it was the players who were like, "Fuck you, I'll pay a fine. I'm putting this tape on my stick."
Well,
and they did that, and then the NHL was like, "You know what? We'll just
perfect example is the Marc-Andre Fleury incident recently.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up with the Native American Heritage Night, and I was at that game. And we have a really, like, the Wild organization has a close relationship with the Treasure Island casino and the tribe. I don't remember which tribe it is, so please forgive me. I'm not even going to say which one it is or which one I think it is, but one of their leaders made a hand-painted Fleury a beautiful helmet of Minnesota native flowers.
Yeah,
because he's flower. And it was gorgeous. And Fleury's wife is Native American, which I didn't know until this. Or maybe I've heard it and I forgot it, but like it got re-brought up. And he said basically a big fuck you to Bettman, and wore the helmet during warm-ups anyway. Like, he didn't even play that night. I think he was slated to play, and then because this controversy was going on, they went to Gustafson and said, but he wore it during warm-ups, and Bettman was saying he was going to get fined. I don't think he ever actually did get fined.
He didn't.
So that's the thing, is that not only was Bettman saying that Flower was going to get fined, he was going to fire the Minnesota organization a shit ton of money. And they did that purposely to try and discourage him from doing it.
Yeah.
And then when they saw the public backlash, they were like, okay, I guess we can't find anybody because they'll have our fucking
not
head.
only it wasn't even just that, Flower was going to pay the fine. I mean, he was going to pay whatever they assigned to him, but then the Wild stood behind him and said no. And the Wild even said, like, we'll pay the fine for you. Like, yes,
there was a lot of people involved that were like, we'll pay.
But then the fans went fucking crazy.
Yeah,
and not just Minnesota fans.
I was just gonna say that. Like,
it was like hockey wide. Everybody was pissed.
And like, who doesn't love Flower, right? Like, everybody in the league has a respect for him, like him or not. Everybody has a respect for who he is as a goalie.
He's a weird motherfucker licking people, but I respect
he really
the hell out of him.
He really is. But he's damn good. I don't know. He's the only one I know that thanks the posts every time a puck hits them and doesn't go in. But like he says, he's like, without them blocking half the shots, I wouldn't have a job, you know?
That's true.
Or kissing the like he just does some weird shit. But he's funny. He's great to have in the locker room. He's great to have around. There was just a video. A kid was at one of the recent I don't know if it was a practice or if it was a game, and he really wanted to get a puck, and didn't. Like, the pucks were given to these kids that, you know, go down to the glass, but this kid had like the special seats, so he technically should have, but I think the mom was kind of being a little bit of like, why were these other kids allowed to come down on the ice when we paid the extra money for the tickets, which I kind of get, but at the same time, have you never been to a Wild game before?
Don't be a pick-me mom.
Or a hockey game, I should say. But she said, but it was all better when Flower, like, after the game, stood in the hallway and talked to her kid about gear and equipment and positions and like all of this stuff she said for like 10 minutes.
That's cool.
She's like, it just made my son's life, you know? So what he does to take time out for his other players and the fans, like, my grandma does not like Fleury whatsoever. I adore him now. He is just such a joy and an infectious smile and laugh, and like, he just makes it fun, you know? Yeah. He's just very much one of those guys that, like, I mean, the pranks he pulls on fellow players, like, still will pull pranks on Crosby, even though they haven't played together in years, you know? Like, at all of their media day stuff for the All-Star and whatnot. Like,
so last time they did that, he taped Crosby's jersey, and Crosby, as soon as he felt it, he knew exactly who it was. You just saw him start laughing.
Well,
he goes,
and then he was like, I was so mad. He had said something about how he was planning on pulling a prank on Flower, but he was like, clearly I didn't get here early enough, because Fleury was there at like 4:00 in the morning to get in before anybody else did, so nobody saw him do it.
That's dedication.
Right? To a prank, like,
that's dedication,
and that's why I like the guy. Like, he's able to make it fun, I think, for so many of the fans and players.
Right. So that's why it's extra disappointing that the NHL not only didn't stand beside him on a topic that he's very clearly passionate about because it actively impacts his life, but just in general, like, I don't understand. Like, why is it any different that it is a nod to his wife's Native American heritage as well as the organization he plays for?
Yeah. Well, and the fact
when
that
any other like goalie mask can be whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right. And having our organization be so tightly knit with that tribe locally here. I mean, they give so much money. My grandma actually used to sit right behind two of the leaders, and like they invited her down to a powwow, like paid for her hotel room, and like she sat with the elders at the powwow and like got this really cool, like, I was not a little, I was very jealous I didn't get to experience it all.
That's super cool.
Too. But like, I mean, they're so tightly knit with the Wild organization, and then like, that's just a big fuck you from the NHL, you know?
Yeah. Well, and this is obviously, like, this isn't the only sport going through an issue with, like, Native American stuff. For D and I, something very close to our heart is the International Olympics Committee, as of right now, will not allow the Haudenosaunee tribe to represent themselves in the 2028 Olympics to play lacrosse.
Wow.
Which the Haudenosaunee is a member of the Six Nations, and the Six Nations rotate who gets to be sort of like the lacrosse entity. So it's been the Haudenosaunee, it's been the Iroquois, it's been a few others as well. And so right now it's the Haudenosaunee who are leading it. And the Olympic Committee is just like, well, you're not technically a country, so like we can't do anything to help you.
Yeah, and then both like the US and Canadian governments have backed the Haudenosaunee. And then like the US and Canadian, like their like lacrosse teams, their national teams are like, well, just know that if they can't play, we're not going to play. And I was like, okay, so you're about to have the two biggest, or the three biggest teams in world lacrosse not be represented because you're going to be ignorant about this. And this like also stems to like the, you know, the LGBTQ plus community in with how the NHL is like kind of like, I feel like they're afraid to take a stance. Yes. And I understand. Obviously, we own a company that operates in the public eye. We understand how all this works.
Right.
But like, as someone who is a member of the community and also played the sport,
right?
You know, I'd like to see a player that's, you know, openly queer and people not have a problem with it, and like back
and
when
not
I was
use
playing,
that kind of terminology on the ice. Like,
even back when I was playing, and I graduated high school, 12 years ago. You wouldn't even have fucking thought to say anything. Like you just didn't. And I think that's an unfortunate side effect of life and such. But I again, like, I want to circle back to the AHL. I'm very, very impressed with how quickly they acted, and I'm very happy. So.
Yeah, and happy that the Chicago Wolves also released a statement saying that we fully support the AHL's decision to ban him. Our organization also does not tolerate that kind of language and discriminatory behavior.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
We have not seen that kind of response from NHL teams who have players who are doing similar things. So props to both of them.
Yeah. Shout out to the AHL.
Yeah.
We'll probably have him on the injured list that we're one of the next people we're talking about. But the other day we had an incident at the end of the Lightning and Predators game where Austin Watson took a slap shot that hit Preds player Jeremy Lauzon in the ankle at the end, causing a big scrum.
Yeah. And
I don't know. How do you guys feel about this?
Rewatched it. Yeah, rewatching it. Well, watching it for the first time and then rewatching it. I don't think it was an intentional, like, trying to hit him in the leg.
Yeah.
But whichever it was. I am actually more displeased with the slamming the stick on the ice. I initially thought, with how hard he looked like he was hitting his stick, I thought he was gonna, like, purposefully trying to break it afterwards. And I get you're pissed, you got hurt, like, that shit hurts no matter who you are. But I was a little bit more disappointed with Lauzon in that than Watson, because I don't think Watson intended to do it.
Right.
I don't either. And that's my thing. Like,
and to Chris's point, was a slap shot at the end of the game necessary?
You're down by 4 fucking goals.
Yeah, you're down by 4 with 4 seconds.
Yeah.
But I think, like,
almost
that
every player tries to do it, a slap shot at the end of a game.
Just to get it down ice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, is that it was also in, like,
he took the shot.
He took the shot
in his own fucking defensive zone. Like, they were in they weren't even in neutral ice.
Which that's not going to get anywhere.
Gone
but
off yet?
No.
Do we remember?
It
4
had
seconds.
Gone off. Yeah, it had gone off right after he took the shot.
Okay.
Right after he took the shot.
Yeah, the start of the play is 4 seconds. Right.
Yeah. So, because you see that all the time too, where they'll, like, slap it right at the end of the game when the buzzer buzzes.
I think it's more just like a frustration thing from Watson being like, we're fucking, you know what I mean? We're Tampa Bay, and here we are sucking this much ass. Yeah, and so he's just pushing it down ice, like, out of frustration. I don't think he intended to hit Lauzon.
No.
Lauzon is there, and it's super unfortunate, and I understand being upset about it. I think it's ridiculous, and we'll discuss this in a minute, but I think it's ridiculous that he got fucking fined for it. And like,
he shouldn't have.
That's insane. They called it unsportsmanlike, and I guess they did that because he expressed his frustration and ended up injuring another player.
Yeah.
But like, come on, you're putting so much intent there to be like, this was done with intent to injure, and is unsportsmanlike in that way, versus just like throwing a minor hissy. You don't penalize goalies who, when they get pulled from a game, smash their stick on the side of the fucking bench. You know what I mean? So if we're comparing apples to apples in terms of and I've seen Crosby do it. I've seen Ovechkin come off the ice and snap his twig. Like,
that, or they, like,
everyone does
against their knee or something. But
like,
the amount of times you see somebody take a slap shot at the end of a game, no matter what team you're on, it's whoever has the puck. I mean, we see it. I see it at every game I watch, I feel like, and that's excessive. But to say that was unsportsmanlike and unnecessary, like, I don't know.
That's one that if I were Watson and I were Tampa Bay, I'd be like, maybe we should have the players' assistant, you know what I mean? The players, whatever league bullshit, the NHLP, whatever. Maybe they should come in and fight this, take it to arbitration, because that is, I don't think, I mean, it might not be worth it to them, but it's still like the principle of it. He's being accused of something that's like insane to put at his feet. And then Andrew Burnett coming behind and being like, oh my God, that was the worst thing I've ever seen. This is ridiculous. How can somebody do that? It's like, it's up there with the horrifying acts of violence statement by the Rangers in terms of fucking ridiculousness for me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
That's fair.
I definitely agree with both of you. I think the reason that people are upset is strictly because of the fact that it was a shot that hit a player and appears to injure him. Okay.
Right.
Austin Watson is not, at least from what I've seen, and anytime I've seen him play Anaheim or anytime I've watched the Lightning, he is not someone who is a very malicious and aggressive player.
Right.
Right.
Was the shot intentional at Lozon? No. I doubt it.
No.
I doubt it.
No.
Did he need to take the slap shot with like 1 second left when you're down by 4 goals? No. That goal clearly, even if it went in, it's not going to mean fuck all, except just for an additional. But like the way that they're acting,
all
like
the fucking time,
yeah,
though. Like
it's
they're
the
acting
way
like nobody ever takes that slap
well, they're
shot.
acting like he beat he hit him with the puck intentionally and went over to beat the shit out of him, which is what happened.
He,
it's not
took
what
his
happened.
stick against the back of his head.
It's
Yeah,
not like he didn't hit him with a shot and then be like, oh, and by the way, I fucked your mom last
by the way,
night.
bam,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
right. Just like fucking smoke him.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
maybe he did, but I don't think he
Lozon
did.
said that he fucked Watson's mom, and Watson was, well, I'll fuck your leg up.
Yeah, then I'm gonna fuck your mom.
Right.
Yeah.
So
by hitting you in the leg.
I agree with both of you. I also agree with Dee that I don't know. I don't really think it should have been a fine. I feel like Burnett needs to chill out. It like should he have done it? No.
Bruno, I love Bruno, but like
he's still like that's a lot to be like, oh, there's no place for that in the game. Really? Because
for
like
making like a stupid slap shot when you're.
I'm pretty sure Jacob Trouba got like a fine for literally baseball swinging a stick at someone's fucking head and connecting. But that's there's place in that.
Just rechecks the list too. Lozon's not hurt. He's not out. He's not on the injury list at all.
It hit him right in the foot.
It stung him for sure.
It hurts like a bitch. You're gonna have a nasty bruise for sure.
Yeah, he felt it.
But you lived.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely would have gotten in trouble because my response would have been, but did you die?
But did you die?
But did you die?
Yeah.
See,
which would not have gone over well for me.
I'm such a sarcastic asshole.
Yeah.
I just would have been like,
on the,
you gonna be okay?
Oh shit kits I made for my sister's bachelorette party, that was on there.
Yeah.
But did you die?
Did you die?
But did you die? Yeah, no, I just would have been like, you gonna be okay?
Yeah, like walk it off, bitch. Like, come on. It hurt. Like, and I can say that
I have taken a puck to the fucking
leg.
skate.
Like,
Well, to the skate sucks. I have taken a puck to the skate, and it's fucking awful.
Yeah,
it hurts
I have too.
a lot.
I've never been hit with a hockey puck, but I've been hit with many lacrosse balls, and so I can understand.
Those are
like it's a similar
pain.
feeling. You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah,
I can understand that,
like,
and that's a fucking hurt.
It hurts. Like, you're gonna like. And I can't even fault Lozon for smashing it. Like I said, like, was I disappointed in the action? A little bit. Does it hurt like a bitch? And would I like throw a hissy fit too? Yeah, it's like stepping on a Lego though.
Right.
Like, you say a couple F-bombs, you throw something across the room, and you move the fuck on. Like,
yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So I mean, overall, no, you're fine. Overall, it's gonna be no. It was beautiful. That was perfect. Overall, I guess we're just gonna have to, see what comes of this in the future because it seems a bit excessive. Moving on to a lighter-hearted topic, one that should not invoke any anger or violence from any of us.
I mean, one of our favorite teams jointly to talk about, always in a positive light.
Yeah, I don't really mind them. You were all about them last year.
Fuck the Penguins.
We're not talking about the Penguins.
Penguins?
We are not.
We're moving on.
You are already. You're so angry. I need you to take your anger from here and bring it all the way down to here.
There is a
I don't know why,
reason
but that just
my
made me think
fantasy
of the
football
gingerbread man.
team is 3 feet of rage. Okay, like
That's
there's or 5. Well, now it's 5 feet.
So
of
say you're
fury,
not
but
even
it
3
used to be
feet,
3
bro.
feet of
You're
rage.
taller than that.
Yeah,
We're like
right.
the
Yeah,
same
give yourself
height.
some credit, Danger.
If you're
Well,
3
it
feet,
came
then
from
I'm 3
a
feet.
guy I knew in college,
And then I'm 7.
I was driving his truck around Grand Forks, North Dakota, where I went to college for a whopping 3 or 4 months. But I was driving his car around just yelling at other drivers, and he was from Fargo, so like driving in city traffic, he knew nothing about compared to the Twin Cities, I should say. And shit, I'm like yelling at people, goes, "You're just 3 feet of rage, aren't you?" And it just stuck with me because, yeah, I am little and feisty. That's why I like Matt Zuccarello so much. He, like, when he had to jump up to punch a guy in the face, I'm like, that's my guy. That's my favorite player now. Like,
that's fair.
Danger just craves violence sometimes.
Yeah. So wait, what is the topic that we're moving to?
So we're going to talk about, well, before I was rudely interrupted, I'm just kidding. I mean, I love you.
Shut up, it wasn't rude. Get over yourself.
Patrick Kane made his official debut with the Detroit Red Wings.
Oh.
No.
That wasn't even,
Okay,
I said I wanted to rant about Kane, and you assumed that I meant Patrick and not
To be fair, that's on me as the one who creates the show.
Also,
you said
didn't
Kane,
specify.
And I was like, oh yeah, Patrick is on the Red Wings.
You didn't specify until after.
I said I'm pissed about a Kane. Which Kane would you assume I was talking
about?
Either
way.
It could have been either one, though, because I don't know who you played last. You could have played the other Kane.
I don't know. I don't watch the Wild usually.
Well, maybe you should start.
Maybe you should.
Who knows? I don't know. Do they win more than the Ducks do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I'll just go fuck myself. Anyway, regardless, we're moving on. We're going to talk about Patrick Kane and his first fucking game with the Red Wings.
Wants to talk about Patrick.
That's what I want to talk about. So we're going to do that.
Awesome.
Me trying to just
play the Red Wings,
the fucking
the 27th. So maybe I'll get to bitch about Patrick Kane in a couple of weeks.
I fully would not put it past you to find something about Patrick Kane to bitch about next week.
Hey man, it's not like there isn't stuff.
Because she said it, I fully intend for her to have something next week.
No, because I said it, and because you reacted that way, I'm only going to say positive things about Patrick Kane in 2 weeks. That's a lie. I probably
To be fair, though,
we'll see.
When we discussed this in our group chat earlier, when I was like, "Oh, that's my bad," I forgot that there are 2 different ones or whatever. Chris was like, "But I'm sure we could actually find bad shit to say about both Kanes, so it's fine."
Oh yeah, Patrick Kane has been no angel in his career, but as of since the life of the podcast, I haven't had anything negative to say about
I don't think we've actually talked shit about Patrick Kane too much.
I am absolutely going to add some title that says something about aggression or tempers flare. But no, he made his debut with the Detroit Red Wings. Thank you. I was struggling. On December 9th, he scored a goal and had a plus-minus of -2. And then as of today, he has an assist in their game where I believe they are up 2-1 over the Chicago Blackhawks, which...
Go Wings.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Considering he got an assist.
You confused the hell out of me for a second when you said "Go Wings." I'm like, who the fuck are you? I get it now, but
I mean, any organization kicking Chicago's ass, I'm kind of down with.
Right? No, absolutely.
So
it's like the Chicago Wolves fucked me up because when I say or hear the Wolves, I think of Minnesota Timberwolves, our basketball team.
Yeah.
So it's like thinking about another Wolves team is just, my brain is very simple, smooth brain sometimes.
It's you guys, it's been a weird ass recording already. You guys are gonna get a weird episode. You know,
when all 3 of us are here, when is it not when it's just 2
and
of
reunited,
us, we can usually pull it together pretty
I don't know.
But when all
last
3 of us
was
are
chaos.
reunited,
last week was chaos.
Last week was chaos.
I don't even know if I'm going to be able to listen to last week because I'm just going to feel really left out. And I know I only have myself to blame for that, but I'm just letting you know.
It is what it is. I think it's cool that within 4 games, we've already seen 2 points out of Patrick Kane. Obviously, that off-season surgery has made a big impact, and it's allowing to help him out a little bit. And I think it's super important for this team. Oh, sorry, my phone just vibrated weird. I think it's important for this team who has had lack of help for Dylan Larkin. In the past, and you see the additions of Alex DeBrincat, and then obviously you get Patrick Kane. David Perron came over in the offseason. Or no, last offseason. I think either last offseason or this most recent offseason. Either way, like they're starting to bolster. Obviously, we're going to talk about Perron and Dylan Larkin soon. But I think it's a really important step for these guys to take to actually make a very well-rounded organization. And the fact that you have depth players, you have guys to help out your superstars, and you have goaltending is something that they should definitely be looking into as well. But it's a positive step forward.
But they're making steps.
Yeah, they're definitely making a very positive step forward. And we love to see it. The former first overall pick in 2007. Obviously at 35, still going strong. Also,
but babes.
He's a November baby. I didn't realize that. The 19th. What a good guy. I'm totally biased when I say that all the best people are born in November.
You are totally biased.
I am.
I can't disagree, though. My son was born in November, so.
Bang.
Only one person that I give a shit about was born in November. Also, a person I don't give a shit about was born in November, and he can.
You know who you are, and you know what you did.
I guess I'll just head out then. It's fine.
Oh shit. Hey. Okay, two people I love and care about are born in November.
I'll just go fuck
I take
myself.
It back. I take it back. I take it back.
All right. Well, now we're at the part where
I was actually talking about somebody else, to be
really
clear.
Get fucking angry. Move on to our question of the week.
Yeah, let's do that.
I get to say it. Fuck the Penguins.
You just wanted a reason to say it.
I mean, most episodes.
Not that I need a reason to say it. But the fact that I even have my 80-year-old grandmother now every time the Penguins come up saying "fuck the Penguins."
Yeah,
amazing.
And
she doesn't like the F word, so that's saying
fair.
something.
So I do want to read off some of the quotes that Penguins GM Kyle Dubas made about Coach Mike Sullivan. When asked, he said, "Do I think he's the right person for the job now and far into the future? I absolutely do. As soon as the team didn't play to its potential, now it seems that right away the focus shifts to coaching. And I'm not sure exactly why that change has happened, whether it's social media or just a greater focus on coaching or what have you. With Sully, I had my impression of him coming in and my respect for him coming in. Being with him every day and not only seeing his attention to detail and systems, but his attention to detail on the players and coaching them individually or personally. I think we're very fortunate to have Mike." So, with that being said, knowing that Kyle Dubas is in his first season as GM of the Penguins, and him having the back of the coach, what do we think is the big reason for their poor performance this year and I guess last year? D, we'll start with you.
I think it isn't not the coaching, because coaching is only effective when it's adaptive, right?
Right.
So clearly there's been personnel changes. Clearly there has been players who have gotten themselves into a bit of a rut. I'm not saying that that means that Sully is a bad coach. What I'm saying is that he is not currently working for the system, and that also the players aren't working for the system. I did note that Dubas also talked about Erik Karlsson, saying that he is the guy who's questioning everything. In my view, Erik has been a great addition, spurring conversation on how we can continue to evolve and change. He doesn't accept the status quo in his own game or in others' games. in the way that we should go about things, especially as he views his role on the power play. He's the quarterback of it. He takes that role seriously. He's not afraid to talk to the players about the way that it's going, and I think that for me is very refreshing. So I think you have new temperaments that have come into the locker room, and while it's great and refreshing, because I do think, yeah, absolutely question how shit's done. It might be a situation that other players on the Penguins haven't dealt with yet. They're not used
Well, and
to.
especially think about where Carlson just came from. The San Jose Sharks are not a good franchise, and
Yeah.
a lot of their success relied on him last year. So now him being on a team setting that is like a whole nother organization with a lot of talent. Yeah, I would hope he's questioning everything.
Yeah, and I mean, I think too that you come into situations, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I've always felt that when my team comes off of a longer break, we suck more.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because we
Yeah.
get too relaxed
Yeah.
or too in our own heads or whatever. So I'm wondering if this being the first time that the Penguins didn't advance in the playoffs in a long, long time, like didn't make them, if that having that entire summer to overthink their game and why they couldn't do better, and if that just really
Yeah.
got them into a place where now they're second guessing their own playing style.
Right.
So do I think it's
Yeah.
the coaching? No. Do I think the coaching needs to adapt to whatever the fuck is happening in that locker room? Yeah, dude.
Right.
Some of that blame has to land at Sullivan's feet, and some of it lands at every other player on that team, every other coach, every other support staff, because it's a group effort to build a team.
Right.
Yeah.
Danger, you have anything you want to add on that?
No, I agree 100% with what Dee said. Like
Right.
it has to be like everybody, to an extent, everybody has to take some responsibility for it.
Yeah.
But it's also not the coaches. And look at the Wild went through a similar thing recently. And yes, again, I know I always tie everything to my own team. Get over it. But that's what I watch the most, so that's my experience.
That's fair.
Sorry about it. No, but like, we went through it recently too, and yeah, unfortunately 2 of our coaches got canned, and now the guys are playing better. But it was one of those where if that didn't work, then we really have to start looking at the guys and whose
right
fault, quote unquote, it really is the most, maybe, because there, occasionally you get a toxic player in the locker room, and that just makes everybody not want to play hockey to the best of their ability. Sometimes it's just guys are down, or like it's you're going through shit as a team or individually, and somebody's got personal shit going on, and because the guys are close, they all are taking it on too, which is great if your guys are that close knit, but you still need to play hockey for a living, you know what I mean, to an extent. So but everybody has to take some responsibility for it, no matter how you look at it, in my opinion.
So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I very much so agree with everything Kyle Dubas said. Think about it this way: in the 7-year tenure that Mike Sullivan has had in Pittsburgh, last year was the first time that he's coached they've missed the playoffs. He's
again nothing. I'm not
he's
saying
won 2 Stanley Cups with them. His record as a coach for the Penguins, 589 total games. He has 337 wins, 187 losses, and 65 overtime losses. Like, his numbers as the coach are fantastic. And I do agree, I do very much so agree that that he does need to take some accountability. But I think there's a problem in sports where when a team starts declining or a team hasn't done well, when like the first thing that people do is, oh, you got to get rid of the coach. Coach is the problem. Coach is the problem. Because like it's easier to blame a coach than it is a player.
Right.
Because coaches are, and this sounds really fucked up, but coaches are expendable. They are. Because you can go hire any Joe Schmo off the street.
Yeah.
Where you can't just fire a player.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just be like, you're done. It's like, oh, and they just fired him. It's like, it's not how contracts work in the sport, especially with, like,
Right.
It's like the collective bargaining agreement and the players association and stuff. I think it's a very unfair thing to place blame 100% on Mike Sullivan when
Correct.
it benefits me a little more, I guess, because my dad's a Penguins fan and my dad and I talk about hockey a lot. And my dad's biggest gripe is he's like, we have all of the talent on this team in the world, but the chemistry's not there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I hate it when we see fans do that. When the second they start talking, it's like, gotta get it with the coach.
It fucking
Coach is a
drives me
cancer. And
nuts.
it's like, dude, give them some time. Let them work through some shit. However, there are situations like the one that my team just experienced where we had Laviolette and it very clearly wasn't working for the team having him as a coach. Okay,
Right.
we tried it for several seasons of it not working. We got rid of him. Cool. That hasn't happened in Pittsburgh yet. I think it's too soon to throw in that white flag for Sully and be like, all right,
because
you're out
it's
of here.
one season.
Right.
And, like,
and it's
they
not even
had a
full
good season.
right?
No, and they even finished the season 40, 31, and 11. Like, that's not a good record, but that's not awful.
Right.
And the bulk of those losses came at the end of the season. Like,
Yeah.
we had talked all last year about how we thought they might just even win the Metro.
I do think, like, while the blame is, like I said, not squarely on his feet, as a coach myself, I have to accept blame a portion of the time. If my team starts going into a losing streak, it's not as much accepting blame as it is taking ownership of how to make a change.
Yeah.
And that's how I view it. It's like you have to take ownership and say, I'm not sure what's fucking broke here. Let's all get together and figure it out. Do I need to get a fucking sports therapist for half of my goddamn team?
Yeah.
I'll go out and do it. Do I need to do like Mighty Ducks style fucking lassoing you all together and you kick a beach ball down the goddamn ice? I'll
make
fucking
you guys
do it.
go play fucking street hockey.
Right.
Yeah.
What do I have to do to get us there? And that's what Sullivan needs to take ownership of. But I don't think in any world that the Penguins need to be getting rid of him.
No. Well, because and what helps with Pittsburgh is their captaincy core is full of veterans who are very much so established leaders and are known for their leadership. And I mean, say what you want about Sidney Crosby, but when it comes to being a captain, he's a damn good captain. And has very much so been able to show that he's gotten that team to rally around. And I think that's what's needed is the veterans and the captains of that organization need to also be like, all right, well, what can we do to be better? Because that's a huge thing. Is like knowing that your team is united on a front and understands, hey, there's problems and we can fix them all together.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Pittsburgh because this is,
what solution they can come up with.
Love them or hate them, understanding that the last 20 years that they've been a team that's been, dominating.
Yeah.
This is very rare. Yeah. Like they're 12-12-3 this year, which 3-4-3 in their last 10 games. That's not like Pittsburgh. That's a very out of character for them. To be only a few games better than Columbus in the division, it's crazy.
Fair.
So though, like, isn't it about time we see Pittsburgh kind of
struggling?
Be at the bottom? Yeah, like they've had so many years of being on the top that like part of me is like, fuck
3 championships in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
2 of them being back to back.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just one of those where, I'm not overly surprised either. But
eventually everyone. Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
Eventually every team, comes and goes.
Sucks ass, yeah.
To round out this segment though, what's like real quick, what's one thing you guys could think of that could possibly inject a little life into that team? Danger, we'll start with you this time.
Everybody getting laid. Drugs.
Drugs.
I don't know.
Fair, man. Maybe the syphilis bus needs to hit that town.
Yeah, I was gonna say the syphilis bus needs to go.
Maybe they need to have another fucking Rager Halloween party like they did last year.
yeah, something. I mean,
they won like 10 straight after that.
Right. at this point, I honestly don't know what's gonna turn them around this season. I don't know that anything will this season, and I'm not overly heartbroken about it because, like I said, sometimes it's about goddamn time that somebody else gets a chance.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not even saying that because the Wild are then going to get a chance. Like, we've sucked this season too, but
so y'all need to figure out your own shit too. And I
but
feel that.
hey,
well,
Arizona's
we're getting
been
there.
beaten
We're
up.
doing better.
Arizona's
But,
been beaten up
like,
on all the recent Cup winners, so maybe this is
Yeah.
their season.
yeah, you know.
Dee, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think that they got to start finding the fun in the game, and B, I think they have to get more aggressive. Something we see a lot with players is starting fights and throwing big hits is often the injection that your team needs of like that rallying spirit to turn a game around. And so I think they need to find when to make those hits. It's not that
Right.
Pittsburgh's not physical, because they are, but I don't think they're being physical in the right ways.
It's not their identity anymore.
No, and I think that maybe they need to inject just a little bit of it back, because I do think that it gets the crowd excited and the crowd fuels the players.
And
as
Pittsburgh
well.
fans are fucking crazy. So like, you know, getting the city back behind them is big.
I think that would turn things for them in a big way, because I think this is what happens to so many athletes. I think it's more mental than anything right now, because like we've said, they're not bad players.
No,
and like while they do have an aging core for sure, they're not bad players. They just need a little bit of life injected back into them, and I find that that's one way to fucking do it.
Yeah, no, I very much so agree. And it's like the thing with the Penguins is that aging core is still producing some pretty good numbers.
Right.
Because I mean, Crosby was up towards the top in like points and stuff since the beginning of the season. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like it's dealing with their lack of chemistry. Start fucking with the lines. See what works. See who plays good with others.
Which they have done. They've really blown up the lines lately.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
And they just haven't found the right connection.
Yeah.
Maybe they need to go on a team bonding trip.
And it doesn't help. It doesn't help that they have a lot of players injured that are, you know, key people. I mean, Brian Rust, Sam Poulin, Ricard Raquel, Chad Ruhwedel, like these are all guys that score for them. They're part of that offense, and not having them is also going to hurt. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. We will definitely, you know, I'm sure continue to talk about them through the rest of the season. If you guys want to submit some questions for us for question of the week, we'd love to hear from you. Hit us up in the comments. Hit us up on social media. You guys know where to find us. One thing I do want to mention that I don't think we got to talk about is the LA Kings did actually break the record for most most away wins in a row.
Cool.
No.
They passed the Buffalo Sabres. They won their 11th straight game at away, which is impressive to win that many in a row on the road. And they've been impressing for sure. You know, good on them.
They're saying something nice about the LA Kings.
I mean, listen, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. The team is good. They're playing real well. They are 11-1-1 on the road.
Yeah.
That's a damn good number. So shout out to the Kings. They've definitely made a big turnaround for sure. D, do we have any stars of the week?
We sure do. Our third star, and again, this is all shout out to NHL, who puts all this shit out here.
NHL.com kills
and picks them. Yeah. Our third star this week is Sam Reinhart, who is a center for the Florida Panthers. He led this week with 7 assists and 8 points during 3 games to bring the Panthers to a perfect week. He had 1 goal and 2 assists in a 5-4 triumph over the Dallas Stars. He also got 3 goals and 1 assist in their victory over the Pittsburgh Penguins. And then he recorded his 4th career 4-point performance with 4 assists in a 5-2 win versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. Reinhart is 28 and is averaging nearly a point per game since being brought over to Florida in July of 2021. Yep, that's a number.
Yep.
He is 5th in the NHL with 17 goals and 20 points. for a total of 37 points for those who
Yeah.
can't math. Through a total of 27 performances this season. He also is among the top of performers in multi-point games, tied for first with 13 multi-point games. Game-winning goals, tied for second with 4. Plus or minus at third with plus 18. Shooting percentage at third with 25.8%, which is a minimum of 1 shot on goal per game. And power play goals, he's tied for third with 7. And goals, he's tied for fourth with 17. God, he has a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, he's also fourth in the league in goals.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Tied for fourth.
You did, yeah. I had this up and I wanted to say it, but you said it anyway, so that's all right.
Uh-huh.
Listen, I'm an idiot and it's fine.
It's fine.
It's like midnight, whatever.
Our second star is Tomas Hertl, who is a center for the San Jose Sharks. Hertl has paced the NHL with 5 goals in 3 contests to help the Sharks rally from multi-goal deficits to earn points in all 3 of their games. Which they went 2-0-1, by the way, this past week, the Sharks did.
Wow.
He got his 6th career hat trick during their 3-goal third period deficit to come into a win for the 3rd time in franchise history as part of a 5-4 overtime triumph over the New York Islanders. Hertl then added 2 more goals, including the tying marker with 1:29 left in the 3rd period, as the Sharks rallied for a 6-5 overtime victory against the Detroit Red Wings. Their second all-time win when trailing by 4 goals, which is pretty cool. He closed the week with primary assists on the tying goal in the final minute of regulation, as San Jose overcame a 2-goal third period deficit for an eventual 5-4 shootout loss to the Vegas Golden Knights. 30-year-old Hertl has played in 27 total games this season, leading the Sharks in goals with 9, tied for assists with 15, and points at 24.
Wow.
Shout out to Tomas.
Yeah.
First star of the game is someone that we also talk about quite a bit, which is someone that I actually like, Nikita Kucherov, who's a right winger for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Kucherov posted 4 goals and 3 assists, including 3 game-winning goals in 4 games to propel the Lightning to a 3-1-0 week. He had 1 goal, 1 assist, highlighted by the decisive tally in both a 4-0 victory over the Dallas Stars and a 3-1 win over the Pittsburgh Penguins. Kucherov then was held off the score sheet in a 5-1 loss to the Preds, but rebounded with including his 6th career overtime goal in a 5-3 triumph versus the Seattle Kraken. Kucherov, who is 30, was named NHL's first star of November, currently holds a 7-point lead in the Art Ross Trophy race with 19 goals and 28 assists in 28 total appearances this season. He also ranks among the leaders in goals at first with 19, assists at first with 28, power play assists at first with 15, power play points at first with 22, shots on goal first with 137, points per game first with 1.68, multi-point games tied for first with 13, game-winning goals tied for second with 4, and power play goals tied for third with 7. So lots of firsts here for Kucherov.
Except for
clearly
goals,
having
he's
just a
no
stellar
longer
season.
first in goals. That has been taken
Really?
by Austin Matthews.
Okay, there you
by
go.
2 goals.
There you go. As of when this was posted on December 11th, he
Yeah.
was still first. But yeah, since then.
Yesterday, I think Matthews scored 3 goals.
Twice.
So I think he scored like 3 yesterday.
Yeah. So those are our 3 stars this week.
Oh, it's exciting, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome to see Kucherov on, back up towards the top 5 because guy's a beast. Nikita Kucherov's so fun to watch.
He is. He's just so good at the game.
Oh, he is.
And I don't hate him.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's the end of that statement.
I don't hate him
either. A good thing.
Yeah. Danger, do you wanna talk about our naughty boys and our sad boys?
I was just gonna say, speaking of people I do and don't hate.
That's a long list.
Respectively, anyway.
Respectfully.
Right. So talking about suspensions and fines first, because why not? For the first time in this veteran NHL player's 1,081 game NHL career. David Perron has been suspended for 6 games without pay for the cross-check to the head of Artem Zub from the Ottawa Senators,
which was
on
just
Saturday.
insane.
Yeah, dude, it was
It
nuts.
was, and it was so freaking clear that, like, talking about the clear boarding from Kane, like, this was a clear cross-check to the back of this man's
There's no
head.
question. There's no question.
And unlike Perron, from what I've seen from him in the past, especially being that they had suspended him and it was the first time in his career, I was a little surprised by that. I'm not gonna lie.
And Perron's a former Duck, and he never did that shit when he played in Anaheim.
No.
So I don't know what started it, what let it down. It was obviously that Larkin hit to begin with, but was that hit even from Zub? Or...
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't actually seen the hit. The only view of it I've seen is Larkin laying face down on the ice and Perron coming around and just cross-checking the shit out of Zub.
Yeah. I don't think it was Zub that hit Larkin, but I might be wrong on that.
I don't think he was the initial hit, but I think he was around afterwards and didn't immediately give Larkin space, and that might be what tipped it.
Well, and I think, because I remember seeing in the clip that somebody went over to check on him, but I don't think that was Zub either. But so Perron was, like I said, suspended for 6 games, forfeiting a whopping $148,437.48. That money does go to the Players Assistance Emergency Fund, which is at least a good thing. But just a huge suspension for something that really did not need to happen. Also, Eric Gudbranson from the Columbus Blue Jackets got suspended for 1 game for serving as the aggressor in an altercation with Nick Cousins. And Gudbranson was part of the... no, it wasn't Gudbranson. Sorry, it was Godoyevich or whatever his name is. I was going to say he was a part of the scrum with the... Tkachuk incident on the team, but that wasn't. It was just similar. Anyway, so he was suspended the 1 game that forfeits $20,000. $20,833.33.
God, what I would give to be making that kind of money for fucking
for one night, 1 game. Yeah, like one. Just one. I make just not that much over that in a year, guys. Like, that's insane.
Even your dogs are upset about it.
Remy is pissed too. For fines, going back to December 5th, we have Jake Wallman from the Red Wings was fined $2,500 for high-sticking Jeff Skinner. On the 7th, Brendan Smith from the New Jersey Devils was fined $2,864.58 for a dangerous trip against Devon Shore, which I didn't see that instance, but I mean, I'm sure it was warranted, but obviously I can't even say that with what we've said tonight. So maybe not. And then also on the 7th, Austin Watson from the Lightning was fined $2,022.57 for that unsportsmanlike conduct against Jeremy Lauzon, which is that hit to the leg.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Again, not something that we necessarily fully agree with, but hey.
Yeah, exactly. But those are the suspensions and fines for this week. For injuries from Anaheim, we have Mason McTavish, who's just listed as out. Jamie Drysdale is on IR, lower body injury. He did return to practice, though, Saturday, per Ducks insider Felix Sicard. Trevor Zegras is also on IR, lower body injury. He also returned to practice on Saturday.
That is good news.
What were you going to say?
That is real good news. Now, the Ducks Insider, they have a lot of good people on staff. That really do provide a lot of good updates. Right now, having Drysdale and Zegras back is real important.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we can't score goals. We are 0-14 when we score 2 goals or less. That's real bad. That's real bad.
Yeah.
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 So
for Arizona, we have Sean Dursey, who is just listed as out. Travis Boyd is on IR, and then a couple of guys I'm sure you guys talked about last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For the Boston Bruins, we have Pavel Zacha. I don't know.
Pavel Zacha.
He is just listed as out, as is Charlie McAvoy. Derek Forbort is on IR long term. For Buffalo, we have Matthias Samuelson listed day to day, with no comments on his injury. Alex Tuck, whatever. Anyway, my brain is dead, guys. We need to move this segment earlier in the show to be able to pronounce things.
We're also like an hour
correctly.
And 45 minutes into our recording, so
right, yeah.
Well,
So for Tuck, he is on IR, but per Heather Engel of NHL.com, Tuck lower body injury, won't play Monday against Arizona. That was yesterday, but could be ready as soon as Wednesday, tomorrow against Colorado. Go ahead and not do that. My dear pal Jordan Greenway is also on IR from the Buffalo Sabres. Don't know what happened to him either. I missed a lot of hockey in the last
he was being a little bitch.
He was being a pussy. Wouldn't put it past him. Anyway, from Calgary.
Jesus Christ.
Love Greenway. We have Chris Tanev, who is still listed as out. Upper body, won't play tonight against Vegas, but is considered day-to-day, this says. Jacob Markstrom is on IR with that finger injury. He hurt his fingy. He was placed Saturday on IR. Jeremy Poirier is listed as out. I'm going to say that's how you say it with confidence.
That is how you say it.
Poirier. Good. See, when I say it with confidence, it's always right.
There you go.
That's a
found
lie.
the secret.
I can't. Right. Kylington is on IR with a personal issue, but he did skate with the Flames on Friday, it says. So
it's Friday.
Anyway. For the Hurricanes, we have Andrei Svechnikov, just listed as out. No comments on why.
Poor Svech.
What happened?
What happened?
For the Blackhawks, we have Seth Jones listed as out with an upper body injury. Isn't with the Blackhawks on the team's 2-game road. Oh, poor babies have to be gone for 2 whole games. 2-game road trip. Kevin Korchinski. Yeah, sure. He is on IR. Andreas Athanasiou.
Athanasiou. Yeah, it makes no sense.
I like my way better.
Nice to see you too, Chris.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's what went through my head too. I was like, I don't know that's okay. But he is out with a groin injury. He is yet to resume skating, but is expected back on the ice soon. Per Charlie something or other with an Otis on the end, not an itis, an Otis, from NBC Sports Chicago. And then there are several that we've talked about before.
I don't know. I'm not even gonna try that one.
Yeah, right. From Colorado, we have Joel Kiviranta is listed as day to day. Aturi Lekkonen. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
That's
no, that was right, actually.
It, but I'm going to go
no,
with
that
it.
is how you say it.
No, that's right.
That's not how we say it up here.
Arturi Lekkonen.
From what I remember, but, we have funny accents, apparently. Dave's daughter was making fun of my accent while
tell
I
us how you put things in the bags.
Why is it always the word bag?
Why is the only thing y'all come after me is the R's?
I don't come after you for anything you say, Chris.
Liar.
Nobody comes after me ever.
Personally.
Because you don't have an
That's
accent.
because you're perfect and lovely.
Thank you so much.
Lehkonen has a neck injury. He is progressing on his return from injury, though he remains 6 to 8 weeks from returning, per Kyler King of the General Denver Gazette. I can read. I went to school. I have a college degree, guys.
Yeah, somebody fucked up and gave me one of those too. I don't know what they were doing.
Yeah. Clearly, I don't know what the fuck happened. For the Columbus Blue Jackets, we have nobody here has a comment, so I'm just gonna read the names. Boone Jenner, Elvis Merziklins, yeah, sure, Adam Bovequist are all on IR.
Dude, Merzlikins is a pain in the ass to say, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, it's
his first name's pretty great though.
Elvis.
Yeah, Elvis is the great. Aren't there like
Elvis
different guys named Elvis in the NHL right now?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think there's 2 different ones. Great name.
Let's have a party.
My aunt, like, if my cousin, her first name is Presley, clearly an Elvis fan.
Cute.
Thank God though that she was a girl, because if it was a boy, his name would have been Seville, which is Elvis backwards.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I disagree. I like Presley for a girl
Presley's
much more
a good
than
name.
Seville for a boy.
Yeah.
And it fits her very well. Anywho, for Detroit, we have, like we were talking about earlier, Dylan Larkin. He is listed on IR, dealing with an upper body injury that will keep him out of action for at least a week. Helen St. James of the Detroit Free Press reported yesterday. Klim Kostin, what a great name.
I know.
Is on IR as well as JT Comfort. And then Matt Luff is still on IR for them. For the Oilers, we have Dylan Holloway on IR. A lower body injury expected to return either just before or right after Christmas, says Jason Greger of Sports 1440.
Crimbus.
Crimbus?
Mary Chrysler.
Chrysler.
He'll be crisis. That's what I have every time. Yeah.
Just have a stroke halfway through.
Great frickin' Vine. For the Los Angeles Kings, we have Vladislav Gavrinkov. You're a dick. Gavrikov. Vladislav Gavrikov.
Yeah, it's a fucking
is just listed as out. All of that to say he's out of action. We don't know why. Arthur Kaliev is listed as day-to-day, and Tobias Bjornfot.
That's such a great last name.
Bjornfot. What a great. I wanted to add the extra O, which is just elongated even more with my Minnesotan accent.
Minnesota.
So that's it for the Los Angeles Kings. And then for the Minnesota Wild, thankfully our only main roster guy that's out right now is Jonas Brodin. Unfortunately, we don't know when he'll be back. We don't know for sure what's wrong with him after that hit from Kane. Yeah. From behind, yes, I'm still salty about it.
What is wrong with you?
Okay, is this late? Okay. For the Montreal Canadiens, yes, I always say it that way.
That's how you're supposed to say it.
Right. But so many people, even other Canadians, say it as Canadians, not.
Well, it's but that's not their name, so they're dumb.
Yeah. I know.
Fucking Habs fans, get your shit together.
Yeah. Well.
No, it's not the Habs fans. It's everybody else in Canada.
Non-Habs fans, get your shit together.
Yeah. So we have Jordan Harris, who is on IR with a lower body injury. He will begin skating, but is still 10 to 14 days away from being able to return to action. The team announced Tuesday or earlier today. They also have Tanner Pearson out with an upper body injury, expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. So that must be a relatively significant injury. And Alex Newhook, which I'm sure you guys brought up last week, is listed as IR.
Mm-hmm.
For the New Jersey Devils, we have Eric Halla listed as day-to-day. Oh. Dougie Hamilton, what a great name.
I don't do Dougie Hamilton's great.
he underwent surgery for a torn pectoral muscle and will be out indefinitely. Thomas Nosek will be, or he still hasn't played since November 18th because of that upper body injury. Re-aggravated his right foot injury, which kept him out of the lineup October 16th to November 7th. He underwent foot surgery Wednesday. And the Devils announced Friday he is out indefinitely.
It's not going well. It's not going well
Yeah,
at all.
poor guy is like,
for Tomáš Nosek.
he cannot catch a break. For the Islanders, we have Matt Martin, upper body. He was put on injured reserve today. Ryan Pulik is listed as IR. Sebastian Aho, also on IR. He's up with an upper body injury, but he is skating with the team. Yeah. He won't be ready, though, he won't be ready. He wasn't ready to face San Jose today.
He wasn't ready.
He's not ready. I'm not ready.
Can we talk about how Matt Martin might win the award for whitest name?
Yeah, that's pretty close.
It's up there.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
For the New York Rangers, and one that messes with my fantasy hockey team a little bit, Keandre Miller is listed as out.
Oh, poor Key.
With a personal issue, we don't, at least based on Yahoo Fantasy, which is where my fantasy hockey team is from, they don't really know when he'll be back. He's expected to play later this week, but he was out for today's game.
No.
For Ottawa, we have Thomas Chabot. Yes, I know that's not how you say
No, that is how you say it. Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but it doesn't necessarily need the emphasis that I gave.
Yes, it does.
It
needs
the funny. The oomph, the cha.
You need to give it to him.
He is listed as IR. For Philly, we have Noah Cates. He is on IR with a foot injury. He was placed today on IR, though. So
not yesterday. Today.
I'm in the Midwest. It's not midnight yet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like almost 1 a.m. for us.
Yeah. For Pittsburgh, we have Brian Rust. He is listed as out. Jesse
Puljujarvi.
Thank you. He has a hip injury, but he signed a professional tryout agreement with Pittsburgh on Sunday.
Yeah.
Interesting. Noel Akari. Lower body injury was put on injured reserve on Friday. Sam Poulin is listed as out. Ricard.
Yeah. He spent most of his career in Anaheim. He's one of my favorite players.
Yeah,
I know how to say. I definitely.
No, I'm laughing at myself because I should have read it like Picard from Star Trek.
Yeah.
Sam Poulin is also listed as out. Yes, I said that. Racal.
Yep.
With an upper body injury, started skating and joined the Penguins for their 3-game road trip.
Nice.
For the Penguins play-by-play announcer Josh Getzoff. Chad Ruedel.
Yep.
Sure. Lower body injury has begun skating and joined the Penguins on their 3-game road trip. Per Josh Getzoff again. And Matt Nieto.
What
What the fuck? Anyway, he is listed on his IR. For San Jose, we have Marc-Edouard Vlasic, related to the Vlasic Pickle franchise. Not really. I don't know. Anyway, that was a joke from a couple weeks ago, if you don't remember. He's listed as out. Matt Benning is on IR. Ryan Carpenter, IR. Ty Emberson is on IR. Oscar Lindblom is, I think this is an update, but considered week to week now. For Seattle, we have Philip Grubauer.
Groovy.
He was placed on IR on Sunday, per Scott Malone of Root Sports. Andre Burakovsky. Is listed as IR. And Jaden Swartz, also on IR with a lower body injury, expected to miss the next 6 weeks, per Jeff Baker, and that's a fancy Jeff because it's Geoff Baker of the Seattle Times.
Jeff.
Dude, fuck that guy and his pretentious ass name.
No, my
Says the
parents,
man speaking in a British accent last week.
Oh, I say.
my parents have a neighbor who's Jeff, and it's spelled that way, and we just call him Fancy. And my son grew up knowing him as Fancy, and like to this day, my now 15-year-old, who is taller than this man, calls him Fancy or Fancy. So it's super cute. Tampa Bay Lightning. Victor Hedman is listed as out. Connor Sherry is on IR with an upper body injury, placed on long-term injured reserve per Cap Friendly. For Toronto, we have Matthew Knees. Listed as out. Joseph Wool is on IR. Timothy Liljegren. That's what I thought. He has an ankle injury. Is still listed as IR, but he was back at practice on Saturday, according to Terry Koshan of the Toronto Sun. John Klingberg, Klingon. He has to. Sorry, that was my personal name.
Live long and prosper.
When he played for us, I called him Klingon all the time.
Oh my god.
I love it.
This is my personal thing. Anyway, he has to have, unfortunately, hip surgery and will miss the remainder of the season. GM Brad Treliving?
I think so.
Anyway, told David Elter of Sports Illustrated on Wednesday. And Matt Murray is still hurt. For Vancouver, Pius? Puss?
Yeah, Pius. Puss. His name is Puss.
My brain went to Puss first, which is why I stopped the way I did.
Suitor. That's better than anything I could have put in the chat. Puss Suitor? No.
I mean, that's what I call Ryan Suitor sometimes, so why not?
Puss Suitor. Oh my god. Like, I'm not even mad. My thing in the chat's amazing, but like, I'm here for that.
Puss Suitor.
Puss Suitor.
Puss Suitor. Pius Suitor is on IR with a lower body injury, but it says he is hoping to play Thursday against the Panthers, says Thomas Drance of The Athletic.
How convenient. Puss Suitor has a lower body injury.
Do you think he... it's syphilis.
It's syphilis.
Carson Southsea is still hurt, as is my dear friend Goulamé. That joke will never die.
No.
For Bree Boys.
Bree Boys, there it is.
Bree Boys.
Oh, man.
For the Vegas Gold Knights, we have Aiden Hill, whose list is out. Kaden Korzak is out. Alec Martinez is on IR. For the Caps, we have Max Pacioretty still on IR. But there is a little bit of an update. It says his Achilles injury. He is still at least 2 weeks away from returning, but he has been skating regularly, per Tom Blulity of NHL.com.
Well, that's big, especially for Pacioretty,
Yeah.
who's not like a young buck anymore. You know?
Right.
Yeah, he was out skating
So
while we were on our West Coast tour. He's still in actually he hasn't had a team practice in a non-contact yet, but he is skating on his own.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
To see that update for him. And lastly, for Winnipeg. Thank God it's the last team on this list. For Winnipeg, we have Jesus Jones. We have Kyle Connor listed as out. Vile, I don't know.
Ville.
Enola. An ankle
I believe
injury.
he's
He was on
finished.
the ice without gear on Tuesday, but remains a ways away from returning, says Michael Clinton. Sorry, not Michael. Mitchell Clinton of the Jets.
I'm sorry, I just read ahead and Rutger McGrody. I don't even need to say anything. Rutger McGrody.
McRoarty.
McRoarty.
Oh man, that's such a good name.
Hashtag
I'm
McRoarty.
glad
I'm so sorry.
He's been out for a couple of weeks, so I wasn't gonna say him. But
Whew.
yeah, poor Riker, Mickey G.
Mickey G.
Big G. I'm so sorry, Rutger. I know the Rutger fight song.
We are fucking
if anyone is
children.
interested.
So it's fine.
We are children.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the oldest of us here. And
somebody
yet I'm
let
the
us
worst.
have a fucking podcast. Somebody let us have multiple podcasts.
To be fair, just nobody said we couldn't make
Yeah.
podcasts.
Just doing it.
Thanks, internet, for making public podcasting a thing.
Yes, that's how we're
'cause
making
somebody
our...
gave us the
That is so
ability.
funny.
But yeah, that's it. That's all I have. Thank Jesus, it's over.
Oh, fucking A. That was brilliant. Thank you so much. And we had a lot
You're
of
welcome.
great.
I was also just gonna say, talking about the suspensions and fines and stuff. Branson is going to have a player safety hearing for his actions in the Blue Jackets game.
I believe he already had the hearing. He got suspended for 1 game.
Yeah, but I think he's appealing it.
Is he appealing?
Or no, Perrin is appealing
Yeah, I was gonna say Perrin is appealing his, which
Perrin is appealing his. I'm sorry, I got them confused because I still have both tabs up. But yeah, so because I think Branson's hearing was probably today because this was published yesterday. So I apologize for that. But
well, I also do want to mention this just broke as of time of recording.
Yes.
The St. Louis Blues have fired coach Craig Berube.
Yeah.
Obviously Craig Berube, the head coach of the team when they won the Stanley Cup a few years ago. They are 13-14-1 this season and after coming off of a 6-4 loss to the Detroit Red Wings. They blew 3 leads in that game. They are like 3-7, or like was like 3-7 or 4. Like they've won like 2 or 3 games in the last 10. It's not looking good.
No.
I mean, players like Jordan Cairo, who haven't really done anything over there this season so far.
Yeah,
it's not.
I made the mistake of drafting him. Well, no, I didn't pick him per se.
He's got 5 goals this season. That is
on my he's on my fantasy hockey team. I was just trying to make a thing for dropping him and picking somebody else up because I'm like, why do I still have you on my team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drew Bannister is the coach of the Springfield Thunderbirds, the AHL affiliate to St. Louis. He has now been named interim coach. So we will see who the candidates are going to be there. Yeah, I'm... Speaking of coaches getting put on the chopping block, I'm not surprised.
And after only 4 games, like a 4-game loss streak, like that's quick.
No, they're like, bye.
They're like, I don't care. They also put Jacob Braun on waivers.
I feel like they were looking for a reason.
Yeah,
and I understand.
They haven't done much the last several years.
Now my phone's going off from NHL giving me the update. So yeah, that just happened. We will give more details next week when we see more. Switching gears to our final segment of the show, the obscure NHL player of the week. And this is a good one. This is a good one for all you hockey fans.
You've been excited about this all night.
I have.
All day.
Because it is...
Ever since he thought of it, he's been excited for it.
It is one of the best jokes in the NHL among fans. Our player of the week is former first overall pick Neil Yakupov. Yakupov was drafted...
Which, if you don't know that name...
There's a reason. Yeah, he is regarded as one of the biggest NHL busts in the history of the league. Drafted first overall by the Edmonton Oilers in 2012. My man played a total of 350 career games in the NHL over a 5-game span, or a 5-season span. Sorry.
I was like 300 over 5 games.
That's not
mathing.
That's not mathing. No.
No.
In those 350 games, he scored 62 goals, 74 assists for a total of 136 points. Also had 190 penalty minutes. He is still playing professional hockey. He is playing in the KHL, where in 211 KHL games, he's got 64 goals, 59 assists for a total of 123 penalty minutes, and 113 penalty minutes, 123 points. We're doing.
There you go.
Yeah,
you got there in the end,
dude. It's been a fucking day, guys. It's
been a
like,
life.
yeah. But what's funny is he came into the league with such like high expectations because of his abilities in like the CHL and like in World Junior Championships. It was yeah, so he played in the CHL for 2 years before getting drafted, and his numbers were off the charts. I don't have them on me currently. But he is up there with the likes of people like Rick DiPietro as number 1 overall picks that really didn't pan out. And he's only 30. So shout out to you, Neil Yakupov. Hope you're killing it over in the KHL. But I definitely know a couple of our listeners that'll get a little kick out of this one. So this is very obscure. He didn't do anything exciting, you guys.
No.
Or anything at all. To be fair. To be fair. So yeah, that is our obscure NHL player of the week. I don't fucking know what this has been. This has been a show. It has been a time. We've laughed. We've had some anger.
Mostly danger.
Yeah. We've made some stupid
Hey, I was
jokes.
the calm one for once.
You were. I know. And then it's real crazy when I'm the one that gets upset.
Yeah.
When I'm loud, it's a problem.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening to, again, whatever this week was. I'd say we'll be back on track next week, but not likely. If you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Ding dong the notification bell. Let you know anytime we upload new content. If you guys are listening to us audio only, definitely leave us a rating and a review. We would love that. Hit us up on all of our socials. You know where to find us. Also, check out our merch store. I know you can't see it fully. There it goes. You can get some dope-ass merch like this. We have a lot of other fun stuff. Maybe some new Pucked Up stuff coming next year. We don't have anything Pucked Up related on the shop, I don't believe.
Not
yet.
So
Not yet.
that'll be a good change. Any parting words before we go, ladies?
I don't think so.
I got nothing.
We love you. Enjoy.
Peace, love, puss suitor. That is going to do it for us. Thank you guys so much. And until next week, we'll see you motherfuckers in the face-off circle.